When I saw the figure $847 in the bank statement for a hotel in Atlantic City, I didn't even flinch. I just calmly put down my phone and continued drinking my coffee. You know, the scariest thing is when you already know the answer, but you keep searching for the question. My name is Peter, I'm 33 years old, and I own a small digital marketing company. My wife Chelsea always wanted to be a homemaker, and I didn't object. The income was enough for a comfortable life for the three of us. Yes, we had a 5-year-old son, Ethan. 7 years of marriage. It seemed like I knew everything about her. How she drinks coffee with an excessive amount of cream. How she always forgets to turn off the bathroom light. How she smiles in her sleep. But it turns out I didn't know the main thing. It all started 3 months ago. Not with suspicions, not with intuition. With banal accounting. I always controlled the family finances, not because I didn't trust, but because it was my habit as an entrepreneur. And suddenly strange expenses began to appear. First, $230 at some boutique that Chelsea never mentioned. Then $156 at a restaurant, although she claimed she was at a picnic with her friend Sarah all day. I could have asked, could have made a scene, but something stopped me. Perhaps fear of hearing the truth. Or perhaps the cold calculation that always helped me in business. Instead of confrontation, I ordered a small GPS tracker on Amazon. Cost only $39.99. The best investment of my life. I threw it in the glove compartment of her Honda Civic, disguised as a pack of napkins. The first 2 weeks, nothing special. Supermarket, Ethan's kindergarten, gym, her mom's house. The ordinary life of an ordinary woman. I even started feeling guilty. Maybe I'm paranoid? Maybe those expenses have a logical explanation? And then there was that Friday. Chelsea said she was going on a spa weekend with Sarah. She kissed me, hugged Ethan, and I saw in her eyes. What? Guilt? Excitement? I still don't know. I opened the GPS app at 8 in the evening. She wasn't driving north to that spa resort she mentioned. She was driving southeast. To Atlantic City. All night I didn't sleep, watching this little blue dot on the screen. It stopped at the Borgata Hotel. An expensive hotel. Not the kind of place you go alone. I didn't follow her. Didn't stage a chase. I just waited. And collected evidence. On Monday she returned tanned and happy. Told stories about massages and steam baths. I smiled and nodded. And that same evening, when she went to bed, I checked her bank card, which she thought I didn't control, an additional one for small expenses. $89 for cocktails at the casino bar. $340 for dinner for two at a French restaurant. $120 for a room? No, for additional room service. The next 3 weeks, I became a detective of my own life. Checked all statements for 6 months. And found a pattern. Atlantic City appeared 3 times. But there were other cities too. Philadelphia twice. Some motel in Trenton. And something in New York. Different amounts. Different dates. And I understood, it wasn't one man. Through an IT acquaintance, I got access to her old Gmail account, the password to which she hadn't changed in 5 years. And found what I was looking for. Correspondence. Lots of correspondence. Max, journalist and blogger, 31 years old, Capricorn. I'll remember his photo forever. Thick beard, ironic smile, tattoo on his forearm. They had been corresponding for almost a year. He was the main one. Wrote to her about how she opened up the world of real feelings to him. How he had never felt this way before. But there were others. David, a financial consultant from Philadelphia. Marcus, a photographer from Brooklyn. Short romances, judging by the letters. But the fact remained my wife, the mother of my child, was living a double life. The worst thing I found in a letter from 3 months ago. Chelsea wrote to Max, I'm pregnant. I don't know whose. Maybe yours. I can't keep this. Peter suspects nothing. I reread this 5 times. She had an abortion. From a lover. Or lovers. And I didn't even know. For another 2 weeks I collected evidence. Printed letters, took screenshots of statements, saved GPS data. Put everything in a folder, methodically, without emotions. Business is business. And then I started to act. First, I met with my lawyer. Showed everything. He whistled and said, Peter, with such evidence you'll get everything. Custody of the child, the apartment, you can even collect alimony from her, although it will be symbolic. Then I reorganized our business account, so she lost access to it. Removed her from all credit cards. Transferred ownership of the apartment to my name. It turned out that with our prenuptial agreement, which we signed 7 years ago at the insistence of my lawyer father, This was possible when proving the fact of marital infidelity. And I found Max. Meeting him was easy. I registered on his blog under a fake name, wrote that I wanted to order material for my startup. We met at a cafe in Jersey City. He turned out to be an ordinary guy. Nothing special. Talked about journalism, about his ambitions, about how hard it is to break through in this field. I listened and thought, this is the man my wife chose instead of me. Towards the end of the conversation, I leaned forward and quietly said, "By the way, Max, I'm Peter, Chelsea's husband." He turned pale, tried to say something, but I raised my hand. "Calm down. I won't make a scene. I just want you to know, she lied to you. You're not the only one. And you're not special. Check her correspondence if you don't believe me. The password to her old Gmail is Sunshine 2015. I paid for the coffee and left. Left him sitting with his mouth open. That same evening Chelsea came home in tears. Max had written to her, made a scandal, called her a liar, sent her to a very unparliamentary place. She threw herself into my arms, sobbing something about how it's all over, that he turned out to be the wrong one, that it's good she has me. I hugged her, stroked her hair, and said, "Chelsea, we need to talk." The next 3 hours were difficult. I showed her everything. Statements, letters, GPS data. She first denied, then cried, then begged, then denied again. "I love you, Peter. I really do. It was all a mistake. I don't know what came over me. Was the abortion also a mistake?" I asked calmly. She fell silent. "You had an abortion and didn't even tell me. From a lover. Maybe from one of several lovers. I couldn't give birth. I didn't know. Was there even one moment when you thought about Ethan? About what you're doing to your family?" She didn't answer. I took out a folder with divorce papers. "Sign this. You'll get the minimum amount provided by law. The apartment stays with me and Ethan. Custodi mine. You can see your son on a schedule determined by the court. I'll transfer all evidence of infidelity to your lawyer. You can try to fight, but with such evidence you'll lose and spend even more money." "You can't." "I can. And I will. Sign." She signed. What choice did she have? The next morning I woke up in an empty bed. Chelsea had taken her things during the night and gone to her mother's. It was hard to explain to Ethan why Mommy doesn't live with us anymore. I said that Mommy and Daddy decided to live separately, but both love him very much. He cried. I wanted to cry with him. But that wasn't the end of my story. Not even close. Because 3 weeks after Chelsea moved out, something happened that I never could have predicted. It was a Tuesday evening. I had picked up Ethan from kindergarten, made him dinner, and put him to bed. I was sitting in the living room of our apartment, going through some work emails, when I heard a key in the lock. My blood ran cold. I had changed the locks. Chelsea didn't have keys anymore. But then I remembered. I had given a spare set to my brother Jake for emergencies. He lived 2 hours away in Boston and rarely visited. The door opened, and Chelsea walked in. But she wasn't alone. Behind her was a man. Not Max. I would have recognized him. This was someone else. Tall, athletic, with slick back hair. He looked uncomfortable, uncertain. "Peter?" Chelsea's voice was shaky. I didn't think you'd be home." "This is my home," I said coldly. "Where I live. With my son. What are you doing here?" "I still have some things in the bedroom. I came to get them." "With him?" I gestured to the man. "This is Ryan," she said quickly. "He's a friend." "A friend," I repeated. "Like Max was a friend? Like David? Like Marcus?" Ryan's face changed. "What's he talking about, Chelsea?" "Nothing," she said quickly. "Peter, can we just get my things and go?" But I wasn't going to make it easy for her. "How did you get a key?" She bit her lip. I made a copy before I left. From Jake's set. "So you broke in. To my home. With another man. While my son is sleeping in the next room." "Our son," she corrected. "My son," I said firmly. "According to the custody agreement that you signed." Ryan looked increasingly uncomfortable. "Look, man, I didn't know about all this. Chelsea said you were separated, and she just needed to pick up some personal items. We're not separated. We're divorced. Because she cheated on me with at least 3 different men. And had an abortion because she didn't know which one was the father." "Jesus Christ," Ryan muttered, looking at Chelsea with disgust. "You told me he was abusive. That you left him to protect yourself." "I never said that," Chelsea protested. "You implied it," Ryan shot back. "You said you were afraid of him." I laughed bitterly. "Afraid of me? I'm afraid of what our son would become if he grew up watching his mother lie and cheat. Chelsea's face hardened. I came for my jewelry box. It's in the bedroom. I'm going to get it whether you like it or not. She started walking toward the bedroom. I followed. Ryan hesitated, then followed too. The bedroom. Our bedroom. Where we had slept together for 7 years. Where Ethan had been conceived. Where I had comforted her through her father's death. Where she had whispered, "I love you," 1,000 times. She went straight to the closet, pulling out a small wooden jewelry box from the top shelf. "That stays here," I said. "It's mine. Check the asset division agreement. Jewelry valued over $500 goes to me. That box contains your grandmother's diamond earrings. Worth at least $2,000. Those are family heirlooms. From my family, actually. My grandmother gave them to you on our wedding day. They stay." Chelsea's face twisted with rage. And then she did something that shocked even me. She grabbed a pillow from the bed and threw it at me. Then another. Then she started screaming. "You bastard. You're taking everything from me. The apartment, my son, my money, and now my jewelry. What kind of man does that? The kind whose wife cheated on him repeatedly and had an abortion without telling him," I said calmly. Ryan stepped forward. "Chelsea, let's just go. This isn't worth it." But Chelsea wasn't done. She grabbed a framed photo from the dresser, our wedding photo, and threw it at the wall. It shattered. "That's destruction of property," I said, pulling out my phone. "I'm calling the police." "No." Chelsea lunged for my phone, but Ryan grabbed her. "Stop it," he said firmly. "You're making this worse." At that moment, I heard a small voice from the doorway. "Daddy." Ethan stood there in his pajamas, tears streaming down his face. "Why is Mommy yelling?" Everything stopped. Chelsea froze. Ryan looked horrified, and I felt my heart break all over again. I walked over to Ethan and picked him up. "It's okay, buddy. Mommy just forgot something. She's leaving now." Chelsea's face crumpled. "Ethan, baby, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to wake you." But Ethan buried his face in my shoulder. He didn't want to look at her. "I think you should leave now," I said quietly. "Before I do call the police." Ryan was already heading for the door. "Come on, Chelsea. Let's go." Chelsea stood there for a moment longer, looking at her son hiding from her. Then she turned and walked out. I heard the front door close, and then Ethan started sobbing. "Why doesn't Mommy love us anymore?" he asked. "She does love you," I lied. "Because sometimes you have to lie to protect your children. She just made some bad choices. But you and we're going to be okay. I promise." I held him until he fell asleep. Then I laid him back in his bed and returned to the living room. The shattered wedding photo stared up at me from the floor. I swept up the glass carefully, then threw the photo away. It belonged to a different life. A life that didn't exist anymore. The next morning, I called my lawyer and reported the break-in. He filed for a restraining order. Chelsea was now prohibited from coming within 500 feet of our apartment. 2 days later, I got a call from Ryan. "I just want you to know," he said. "I broke up with her. After I looked up the court records and saw everything was true. I'm sorry, man. I didn't know." "It's not your fault," I said. "She's good at lying." "Yeah," he agreed. "She told me you were controlling and abusive. That she was scared of you. I thought I was helping her escape. Did she mention the other men?" He laughed bitterly. "No. But after I confronted her about you, she admitted there were others. She said she was looking for something she couldn't find at home. Whatever that means." "It means she was bored and selfish," I said bluntly. "I think you're right," Ryan said. "Anyway, I just wanted to apologize for showing up at your place. I really didn't know." "I appreciate that," I said. After we hung up, I felt something strange. Not satisfaction exactly, but a sense of closure. Chelsea was losing everyone. Max had dumped her. Ryan had dumped her. She had lost her home, most of her money, and her son's trust. And she had no one to blame but herself. The divorce was finalized 6 weeks later. The judge awarded me full custody of Ethan, with Chelsea getting supervised visitation every other weekend. She got $15,000 as a settlement, and that was it. The apartment, the car, the savings, all mine. My company continued to thrive. I hired a part-time nanny to help with Ethan after school. We settled into a new routine. Breakfast together, I drop him at school, work, pick him up, dinner, homework, bedtime. Weekends at the park or the movies or just hanging out at home. Ethan started seeing a child therapist to help him process the divorce. She said he was doing remarkably well, all things considered. He still asked about his mom sometimes, but less and less frequently. Chelsea, on the other hand, was not doing well. I heard through mutual friends that she had lost her job. Apparently, she was showing up late, calling in sick frequently. Her mother had kicked her out after she brought home yet another man. She was couch surfing with friends. 3 months after the divorce, she showed up at Ethan's school. Tried to take him out for ice cream during lunch. The school security stopped her. I had warned them about the custody situation. They called me immediately. I called my lawyer. He filed for a violation of the custody agreement. The judge was not pleased. Chelsea's visitation was reduced to once a month, supervised only, at a court-appointed facility. I felt bad for her. I really did. But not bad enough to help her. She had made her choices. Now she had to live with them. For months after that, I was at a business conference in Manhattan when I ran into Max. He was covering the event for his blog. We locked eyes across the room. For a moment, neither of us moved. Then he walked over. "Peter," he said. "Max," I replied. "How's Ethan?" he asked. I was surprised he remembered my son's name. "He's good. Adjusting. And Chelsea?" "Not my problem anymore," I said. He nodded. "She called me last week. Asked if we could try again. Said she'd changed." "What did you say?" "I told her I'd met someone else. Someone who doesn't lie." He paused. "She cried. A lot. She's good at that," I said. "Yeah," Max agreed. He looked at me seriously. "For what it's worth, I'm sorry. I knew she was married. I didn't think about the consequences. About you or your kid. I was selfish." "Yes, you were," I agreed. "But you weren't the one who took vows. She was." "Still," he said. "I'm sorry." I nodded. Apology accepted. We parted ways. I never saw him again. 6 months after the divorce, I started dating again. Nothing serious, just coffee dates here and there. I wasn't ready for a relationship. Maybe I never would be. But it was nice to talk to women who were honest, who had their lives together, who didn't need to lie to feel alive. Ethan asked me once if I was going to marry again. "Maybe someday," I said. "Would that be okay with you?" He thought about it seriously. "Only if she's nice to us," he said finally. "Only if she's nice to us," I agreed. A year after the divorce, Chelsea sent me a long email. It was rambling, emotional, full of apologies and explanations. She said she was in therapy now, that she understood she had a problem with attention-seeking and validation, that she was working on herself, that she hoped someday I could forgive her. I read it once. Then I deleted it. Forgiveness is a beautiful concept. But some things can't be forgiven. Some betrayals cut too deep. Some lies destroy too much. Chelsea didn't just cheat on me. She cheated on our son. She cheated on our future. She looked at everything we had built together and decided it wasn't enough. Then she systematically destroyed it, piece by piece, lie by lie, affair by affair. And then she had the audacity to claim she loved me the whole time. No, I don't forgive her. I don't hate her either. Hate requires energy, emotion, investment. I feel nothing for her now. She's just a person I used to know. A person who taught me valuable lessons about trust, about loyalty, about the importance of actions over words. Ethan is 8 now. 3 years since the divorce. He's happy, well-adjusted, doing great in school. He sees his mother once a month for 2 hours at a supervised facility. He's polite to her, but distant. Sometimes I wonder if he'll forgive her when he's older. Maybe he will. Maybe he won't. That's his choice to make. As for me, I'm dating someone seriously now. Her name is Amanda. She's a teacher, divorced, has a daughter Ethan's age. We're taking it slow, building something real. Something based on honesty and respect. Something Chelsea never understood. Last week, I ran into one of Chelsea's old friends at the grocery store. She told me Chelsea had moved to California. "Trying to start fresh," she said. I nodded politely and changed the subject. California, Atlantic City, New York, it doesn't matter where she goes. She'll always be running from the same thing, herself. But I'm not running anymore. I'm standing still, building a life, raising my son, loving again carefully. The apartment is truly mine now. I've redecorated, bought new furniture, erased all traces of her. It's clean, peaceful, honest. Sometimes late at night, I still think about that moment when I saw $847 in the bank statement. How one number changed everything. How it set off a chain of events that demolished my marriage but saved my life. Because staying with Chelsea would have destroyed me slowly. Ethan would have grown up watching his father become a shell of himself, suspicious and bitter and broken. Instead, he's growing up watching his father be strong, make hard decisions, value himself, Build a good life from the ruins. That's the real revenge, I think. Not the money or the apartment or the custody. Not even exposing her to her lovers. The real revenge is being happy without her. The real revenge is showing my son that you can survive betrayal and come out stronger. The real revenge is knowing that while she's still searching for whatever it was she couldn't find at home, I've found peace. And peace, I've learned, is worth more than all the passionate lies in the world. Do I regret marrying her? Sometimes. But then I look at Ethan, and I know I can't regret anything that gave me him. Do I wish things had been different? Of course. But wishing doesn't change reality. Reality is that some people are not meant to be trusted. Some people will always choose the thrill of deception over the comfort of honesty. Some people will destroy beautiful things just to see what's underneath. Chelsea was one of those people. And I'm grateful I found out before another 7 years passed. Before Ethan was old enough to really understand. Before I wasted more of my life on someone who didn't value it. The GPS tracker cost $39.99. The divorce cost $25,000 in legal fees. The pain cost countless sleepless nights and moments of doubt. But my freedom? My son's stability? My self-respect? Priceless. That's my story. The story of how I discovered my wife's infidelity through bank statements and GPS tracking. How I carefully documented everything before confronting her. How I made sure I had the upper hand legally. How I protected my son and my assets. Some people would say I was cold, calculating, heartless. I say I was smart, prepared, protective. And 3 years later, I'm still standing, still successful, still sane. Chelsea can't say the same. Thank you for watching the video to the end. YouTube may no longer suggest my channel to you, so subscribe to it to receive new interesting stories. You will also help the channel grow and improve the quality of its content. A playlist with other interesting stories that you can listen to is now displayed on the screen. You can also write in the comments what stories you would like to see on the channel.